Hello students, good afternoon to all. Today we will discuss the drugs which are used in hypertension, right? That is called antihypertensive drug. So let's start with what is hypertension. Hypertension is a elevation of systolic as well as diastolic blood pressure, right? Both the elevation of systolic and diastolic, it is generally above 140 by 90 mmHg, right? The normal blood pressure is 120 by 80, but if the blood pressure is above the 140 by 90, then this condition is generally called as hypertension, right? There are mainly two types of hypertension. Means hypertension is classified into two types, primary and secondary. In primary hypertension, we don't know the cause of that hypertension, right? And in the secondary hypertension, the causes are known. It is generally either renal, endocrine, or any vascular disorders. Then let's start with directly the classification of antihypertensive agent, right? Antihypertensive agent. Before that, we know that hypertension is generally arise by increased cardiac output plus increase in peripheral vascular resistance. So if we put the hypertension on equation, then blood pressure is equal to CO, which is stand for cardiac output, into PVR, that is peripheral vascular resistance, right? So it is generally occurred due to the cardiac output and peripheral vascular resistance, right? Now, classification of antihypertensive drug. So there are generally five main classes are there, and it is again classified into subclasses, right? So let's start with first one, that is diuretic. In diuretic, again there is again there are three classes, right? Thiazides, loop diuretic, and potassium sparing diuretics. In thiazide diuretic, the drugs are hydrochlorothiazide, chlorthalidone, and indapamide. And in loop diuretic, there is furosemide, bumetanide, and torsemide. And in potassium sparing diuretic, there is spironolactone, amiloride, and triamterens, right? These are the diuretics which are used in the treatment of hypertension. Then second class is drug acting on renin angiotensin system, that is RAS, right? Renin angiotensin system, which has major role on the pathophysiology of hypertension, right? The these are again classified into three classes. First one is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. In short, it is ACE inhibitors. The drugs are captopril, enalapril, lisinopril, all the name which is suffixed by pril, right? Suffixed by pril is categorized under ACE inhibitors. Then second one is angiotensin 2 receptor blocker. Angiotensin 2 receptor blockers. The drugs are losartan, condensartan, valsartan, irbesartan, right? All sartans. And the name which is suffixed by sartan, it is called as angiotensin 2 receptor blocker, or ARB, right? Then renin inhibitor. It include aliskiren, right? Aliskiren. So these are the drugs which is acting on RAS system. Then sympatholytics drug. Sympatholytics, which inhibit sympathetic system, right? It is again classified into four classes. right? Four classes. First one is centrally acting drugs. Centrally acting drugs. It includes clonidine, methyl dopa, guanosbens, and guanafacine. Then second one is ganglion blockers. It includes trimethophan. Trimethophan. Then adrenergic neuron blockers. Adrenergic neuron blockers. It includes guanethidine and reserpine. Guanethidine and reserpine. Then fourth class is adrenergic receptor blockers. Adrenergic receptor blockers. It is again classified into three separate classes. First one is alpha blockers. Prazosin, terazosin, doxazocin, all name which is suffixed by zosin, right? Zosin, that are included into alpha blockers. Then beta blockers. Beta blockers into beta blockers includes propranolol, etanolol, esmolol, metoprolol, right? The name which is suffixed by lol, lol, is included into beta blockers. Then mixed alpha and beta blockers means the drugs which block both receptor, alpha as well as beta receptor. It includes labetalol and carvedilol. Labetalol and carvedilol. Then next class is calcium channel blockers. Drugs which block calcium channel, right? It includes nifedipine, nicardipine, nimodipine, all dipines, right? The name which is suffixed by dipine are included into calcium channel blockers. Then vasodilators, which dilate either arteries or vein, right? It includes arteriolar dilators and both arterial plus venular dilators, right? Arterial dilators include hydralazine, minoxidil, and diazoxide, and venous plus artery dilators include sodium nitroprusside, right? The classification of antihypertensive drugs are most important, right? It is also important for your competitive exam point of view. So these are the classes which is used in hypertension treatments. We will see all the classes one by one, right? So let's start with RAS system, renin-angiotensin system, right? We have seen that there are three main classes which are included and which are acting on the RAS system. It includes ACE inhibitors, ARBs. ARBs stands for angiotensin 2 receptor blockers, and renin inhibitor, right? So let's start with how RAS system will work and how it affect on the pathophysiology of hypertension, right? So this angiotensin is one type of peptide, right, which is synthesized from the precursor angiotensinogen, and this angiotensinogen is arise from the liver. This angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1 with the help of renin enzyme. The name of the enzyme is renin, right? So this is the first step of synthesis, angiotensin synthesis, right? So there is one class of drug in our classification of antihypertensive drug, that is renin inhibitor. So these drugs are act on this renin, right? It directly inhibit renin. The drug is eliscarine, right? So angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1. and this angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2 with the help of ACE, that is angiotensin converting enzyme, right? So again there is second class which is used in hypertension. It is called ACE inhibitors, which is act on this step, right? It directly inhibit angiotensin converting enzyme. So there is no further step for synthesis of angiotensin. So this angiotensin 2 has major role on blood pressure, right? It causes vasoconstriction, salt and water retention, aldosterone secretion. These all leads to this all leads to the elevation of blood pressure, right? Vasoconstriction is also responsible for the increasing in blood pressure. Salt and water retention, aldosterone secretion, these all cause increased plasma volume and salt and water retention, which will ultimately increase the blood pressure, right? And the third class, which is act on which is act as a antihypertensive agent, that is ARBs, angiotensin receptor blocker, which will directly has a effect like competitive antagonist, right? Competitive, it will compete for the place on the receptor. So instead of angiotensin 2, the ARBs will bind, right? So there is no further effect of this vasoconstriction, salt and water retention, and aldosterone secretion. So angiotensin 2 is the major player which is act on the hypertension. Now let's start with first class, right? Which was the first class? It is uh, ACE inhibitor. ACE inhibitor. So angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. The drugs include olprils, captopril, enalapril, ramipril, right? Olprils. So how it will act? Let's directly move towards pharmacological action. What is the pharmacological action of? We have already discussed the mechanism, right? That step. The angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1, and this angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2. So this class of drug ACE inhibitors act on the step of conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, right? This step required angiotensin converting enzyme, and our drug will directly block this enzyme. Now pharmacological action, right? How it will act? It reduce the blood pressure due to the reduction in peripheral arterial resistance. It will reduce the resistance of arterial wall, right? So fall in blood pressure is due to the inhibition of angiotensin 2 formation and raised bradykinin level. Here is the role of bradykinin, right? And this bradykinin is responsible for the vasodilation. Remember this, it is responsible for the vasodilation. So bradykinin is a useful component here. And the inhibition of ACE will prevent the degradation of bradykinin, and it contributes to fall in blood pressure, right? So the reduction in blood pressure is associated with a fall in plasma angiotensin 2 and aldosterone level. So this increase in plasma renin activity, right? Now pharmacokinetic. How These ACE inhibitors will absorb, metabolize, distributed and excreted. So they are generally well absorbed orally, right? They are well absorbed. Except captopril and lisinopril, all others are prodrug. Prodrug means it is inactive in their original state, but when it get metabolized, the effect of actual drug is starting, right? So these other drugs are prodrug except captopril and lisinopril. They differ in their potency and pharmacokinetic properties like bioavailability, distribution, plasma, 1/2 and excretion. Most of the drugs are excreted through the kidney, right? They are excreted through the kidney. So dose should be reduced in renal dysfunction patient. If someone has a renal failure or a renal insufficiency, then the dose should be reduced. Now, adverse effect of SE inhibitor. Generally, it is well tolerated, right? By the most of the patient, it is well tolerated. But there are some side effects. It includes persistent dry cough, right? Persistent dry cough. It is due to increase in bradykinin level. It is more common in women. If there is increase, bradykinin is responsible for the formation of cough, and here here there will be increase in bradykinin level, which is helpful in vasodilation. So increased level of bradykinin will form persistent dry cough, and it may require withdrawal of SE inhibitors, right? And in place of SE inhibitors, we can replace it with ARBs, angiotensin 2 receptor antagonists, right? And another side effect includes hypotension. Hypotension. On initiation of therapy, ACE inhibitors may cause significant hypotension, right? Hypotension, reduction in blood pressure. This phenomenon is called as first dose phenomenon. Initially there is a significant reduction in blood pressure, right? And this symptom is called as first dose phenomenon. So the treatment should be started with small dose, and if patients are already on diuretics, then temporary diuretic should be stopped. Otherwise, this hypotension condition will become worsening, right? Then third is hypokalemia. Hyperkalemia, right? Increase in potassium level. So SE inhibitors may cause hyperkalemia, particularly in patients with potassium sparing diuretics, patients who are taking NSAIDs, beta blocker or any potassium supplements, right? This cause hyperkalemia. Then dysgeusia. It is symptoms of altered taste sensation. It is symptom of altered taste sensation, which is common with generally captopril, right? But it is generally reversible. So if you will discontinue drug, then your taste sensation will resume. Then angionuretic edema. It is rarely cause these symptoms. And first of all, what is angionuretic edema? It includes swelling in the lips, nose, larynx and airway obstruction, right? And this happens due to the increase in bradykinin level, right? This symptoms arise due to the increase in bradykinin level, and it may be fatal. So this may leads to the death. So if these symptoms are seen, then the drug should be immediately withdrawn, right? Drug should be immediately withdrawn, and it is replaced by ARBs. Then skin rashes, it occasionally causes skin rashes and it is self-limiting, so you did not need any specific treatment for skin rashes. Then these ACE inhibitors is also cause teratogenicity, means defect in the fetus, right? If pregnant woman take this medicine, then it cause defect in the fetus. If it is given into the second and third trimester of pregnancy, then it cause several malformation of fetus, and it includes fetal growth retardation, malformed lung, means lung will not properly form, and even death, right? So it is contraindicated in the pregnancy. Other side effects include headache, nausea, abdominal pain, proteinuria, right? Proteinuria means presence of protein in urine. Neutropenia, reduction in the neutrophil count. These all are rare side effects. Now the uses of ACE inhibitors, where it is used first and most is the hypertension. ACE inhibitors are first line antihypertensive drug, right? First line means it is drug which is used on priority base. First line means used into the priority base. If we have to choose from all that antihypertensive classes, then we will choose this first, right? ACE inhibitor first. That is called first line, and it is useful in the treatment of hypertension of all grades, right? All grades. Then congestive cardiac failure, CCF. ACE inhibitors are now considered as a first line drug in CHF, right? It is also first line drug for the cardiac failure, congestive cardiac failure. Then third one is myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction. So it reduces the mortality, and in post myocardial patient, ACE inhibitors are used to reduce long-term mortality, right? After surgery in myocardial infarction patient, it reduces long-term mortality. Then prophylaxis in coronary artery disease. The patient who are at the high risk of developing coronary artery disease like myocardial infarction, stroke, angina, these ACE inhibitors are act as a protective, right, and reduce the risk of myocardial infarction, stroke, heart failure, and sudden death, right? Then diabetic nephropathy. Diabetic nephropathy. It is also used in the diabetic complication, which is known as nephropathy. So it will prevent the progression of renal disease due to the diabetes, right? Then chronic renal failure. Chronic renal failure. It is also used in chronic renal failure. Plus, it is also used in scleroderma renal crisis. It is one type of renal impairment, right? Renal function impairment disease. So it is also used in this type of condition also. Now, what are the precautions and contraindications which can be taken during the use of ACE inhibitors? So first one is start with a low dose and gradually increased every 1 to 2 weeks to required dose, right? So you cannot directly take the required dose. you have to start it with a lower dose, and gradually you have to increase it, right? And the second one is, it is indicated contraindicated in the pregnancy, as we have seen that it causes the teratogenicity. So it should be, it should not be used in pregnancy, particularly in second and third trimester. Then it should not be combined with potassium sparing diuretics. It should be, it should not be combined with potassium sparing diuretics. The reason is the AC inhibitors has a side effect of hyperkalemia, right? It increases the potassium level. So it should be, it should not be used with potassium sparing diuretics, because um, this potassium sparing diuretics will also increase the potassium level. At the first sign of angioedema, AC inhibitor should be stopped. The reason is the angioedema is may be fatal, right? It may be fatal, so it should be stopped. Then AC inhibitors are contraindicated in the patients with renal artery stenosis, as they may cause renal failure. Renal artery stenosis means there is stiffness of the wall of artery, right? The wall becomes stiff. Then AC inhibitors may enhance the plasma level of digoxin, so it should not be combined with digoxin. So it increase the toxicity related to digoxin, so it should not be combined with digoxin, right? So this is all about AC inhibitors. It may be asked in your exam as a separate question. The writer pharmacology of AC inhibitors. You should write mechanism, pharmacological action, pharmacokinetic, adverse effect, uses, and contraindications, right?